Imagine standing in a stark concrete room. The air is cool, the acoustics hollow. In the center of the floor lies a dark circle. It looks like a rug, perhaps a circle of black velvet carefully cut and placed upon the stone. It is so profoundly matte, so utterly devoid of texture that your eyes slide right off it. It looks like a glitch in the simulation, a flat, two-dimensional sticker applied to the three-dimensional world. You lean in closer, trying to discern the weave of the fabric, the stroke of the paint. You see nothing. And then you stumble, because what your brain insisted was a flat spot on the floor is actually a hole, a physical drop into darkness. This is Anish Kapoor's installation, Descent into Limbo, and the material that tricked your brain into betraying your balance is Vantablack. To understand the controversy that tore the art world apart, we must first understand the seduction of the material itself. Vantablack is not a pigment. It is not a paint in the traditional sense, ground from earth or insects or chemical compounds. It is technology. Developed by Surrey Nanosystems, the name is an acronym, Vertically Aligned Nanotube Array. Imagine a forest where the trees are made of pure carbon, and they're so tall and so tightly packed that when a particle of light enters the canopy, it never finds its way out again. It bounces between the trunks, deeper and deeper, until it dissipates as heat. This material absorbs 99.965% of visible light. When you look at Vantablack, you are not seeing a color, you are seeing the closest thing to a physical black hole that can exist on the surface of our planet. This optical effect creates a terrifying flatness. If you were to coat a wrinkled sheet of aluminum foil in Vantablack, the wrinkles would vanish to the human eye. The topography disappears. It becomes a silhouette, a shadow cut out of reality. This effect is precisely what drew Anish Kapoor to it. Kapoor, a titan of sculpture known for his mirrored beams and massive biomorphic forms, has always been obsessed with the void, the spaces between things, the emptiness that holds weight. In Vantablack, he found the ultimate tool to manifest the void. It wasn't just about making things black, it was about making them disappear. However, the origins of this substance were never artistic. It was born for stealth. It was designed to coat the inside of telescopes to prevent stray light from ruining star charts, and to cloak military satellites and jets to hide them from sensors. It is a material of concealment, of espionage, of cold, hard utility. When Kapoor looked at this military-grade technology and saw the sublime, he was tapping into a long tradition of artists appropriating industrial materials. But unlike the steel of Richard Serra or the fluorescent lights of Dan Flavin, Vantablack required a laboratory, a reactor, and extreme heat to apply. It was rare, it was dangerous, and it was intoxicating. It triggered a primal fear in the viewer, a vertigo induced by the inability to focus on a surface. It forced us to stare into the abyss, and for the first time in art history, the abyss didn't just stare back, it refused to reflect us at all. The year was 2016, and the art world woke up to a headline that read less like a gallery announcement and more like a declaration of war. Anish Kapoor had secured the exclusive rights to use Vantablack in artistic applications. The deal with Surrey Nanosystems was sealed. If you were an aerospace engineer, you could buy it. If you were a scientist building a telescope, you could buy it. But if you were a painter, a sculptor, or a creator of any kind, and your name was not Anish Kapoor, the blackest black was forbidden to you. The reaction was visceral and immediate. Artists have always been possessive of their techniques. Michelangelo guarded his cartoons. Yves Klein patented his specific shade of international Klein blue. But this felt different. Klein had patented a formula, a recipe that others could theoretically approximate. Kapoor had locked down a fundamental visual experience. He hadn't just bought a tube of paint. He had effectively copyrighted a specific wavelength of light absorption. The hubris of it was staggering. It turned the concept of the void, which should theoretically belong to no one and everyone, into a luxury asset, a piece of intellectual property to be hoarded in a London studio. Enter Stuart Semple. If Kapoor was the establishment titan sitting in his ivory tower, Semple was the punk rock insurgent. A British artist known for his vibrant, populist approach, Semple saw the Vantablack exclusivity deal as an insult to the very spirit of creativity. His response was not a lawsuit, but a performance piece masquerading as a product. He released the Pinkest Pink, a powdered pigment so fluorescent it hurt your eyes to look at it on a computer screen. It was cheap, it was accessible, and it came with a catch. The terms of service on Semple's website became legendary. To purchase the Pinkest Pink, you had to tick a box that legally declared, "By adding this product to your cart, you confirm that you are not Anish Kapoor. You are in no way affiliated to Anish Kapoor. You are not purchasing this item on behalf of Anish Kapoor or an associate of Anish Kapoor." It was a masterstroke of guerrilla marketing. It frames the conflict not as a legal dispute, but as a moral one. It was the many against the one. The internet exploded. Thousands of artists bought the pink not just to paint with, but to hold a physical share in the rebellion. The feud escalated when Kapoor, in a move of staggering pettiness, got his hands on the Pinkest Pink. He posted a photo to Instagram of his middle finger dipped in the fluorescent powder, captioned simply, "Up yours, #pink." It was a moment that stripped away the pretension of the high art world. Here were two grown men, professional creators, fighting over powdered dust like children in a sandbox. Yet beneath the memes and the insults, a profound conversation was happening. By banning others from the void, Kapoor had inadvertently made color political. He forced us to ask, can you own a sensation? Can you trademark the absence of light? And in a world where billionaires own the platforms we speak on and the water we drink, the fight for the right to paint with black felt like a stand for the last frontier of freedom, our own imagination. The dust has settled, but the stain of the controversy remains. And interestingly, it is not the black stain Kapoor intended, but the vibrant, chaotic splash of the community's response. The Vantablack feud didn't end with a judge's gavel. It ended with innovation, born of spite. They couldn't have the military-grade, toxic, lab-grown nanotube forest. They would build a black hole that you could buy for $20 and apply with a brush. This led to the creation of Black 2.0 and eventually the crowdfunded Black 3.0. While Vantablack remains technically darker on a scientific level, trapping that fraction of a percent more light, the cultural victory belongs to the alternatives. Black 3.0 smells like black cherry. It is non-toxic, it can be shipped in the mail. It is democratic darkness. Thousands of artists backed the Kickstarter, effectively saying that they preferred a slightly imperfect people's black to the perfect authoritarian void of Kapoor. This shifted the value proposition of art materials. The best material was no longer defined by its technical specifications, but by its accessibility. There is a profound irony in how history will remember this era of color theory. By forbidding the use of Vantablack, Kapoor ensured that it would be used far less than if he had shared it. He trapped himself in his own exclusive prison. When we see a Vantablack sculpture now, we don't just see the abyss, we see the ego. The material has become inseparable from the controversy, tainted by the very exclusivity that was supposed to make it valuable. The void, which should represent the infinite and the unknown, became a symbol of limited liability corporations and copyright law. In contrast, the open-source colors that emerged to fight him have flourished. They appear on the canvases of students, hobbyists, and professionals alike. They proved that the true power of art lies not in what you can hoard, but in what you can share. The legacy of the artist who stole black is not that he possessed the forbidden color, but that he inspired the rest of the world to invent their own. We learned that while you might be able to buy the rights to a specific arrangement of carbon nanotubes, you cannot buy the concept of darkness. The abyss is a universal human experience. We all close our eyes and see the same black. We all stare up at the night sky, and feel the same vertigo. No contract, no matter how expensive, can gatekeep the human need to stare into the dark and create something from it. The forbidden nature of Vantablack only made the alternative blacks more culturally significant, turning every jar of Black 3.0 into a small monument to artistic freedom.